Thanks for joining on this video training for MLS. This is going to help you search MLS and how to use Paragon, which can be one of the more challenging features when you're working as an agent. Generally speaking, when you're searching MLS, most everything is going to be broken down by class. So as you can see, residential, condo, land, commercial, then the classes are then broken down each by type. So for residential, you can see detached HPR, detached with leased land. That's generally how they work. The next most important feature is going to be the status. So when you're looking up a listing, the status of the listing is if it's active. Active means that it's currently for sale, or it could be pending with a contract, pending financing, pending cash, or the last one is the listing's on hold, which means you can't access it. Another status is sold. That's going to be for looking up comps, looking up for sold properties to get values. Expireds are listings that expired without a contract, and withdrawn are listings that were taken off the market. Another important one is construction status. This basically lets you know what the building status is of the home. So never occupied means it was a home that was built but it's never been lived in. Under construction means the home is currently under construction, and to be built designates that it is scheduled to be built but actually no work has been done yet. The most common one's resale. This is basically your regular listing in MLS. It's previously owned home being sold by the seller, so it's not new construction. Here you can see a MLS input form. These are good to have a copy of and go over because it shows you all the fields in MLS that are clickable and what basically you can input into a listing and what you can search for. So as you can see, price, address, subdivision, area. Here we're back to the type, and you can see all the choices: the detached, manufactured, with leased land, detached with HPR. Here's the construction status that we talked about. You can see resale. You can search by style, parking if you want a garage, a driveway. You can search by tax map number. You can search by listing agent. You can search by heated square feet, number of bedrooms, HOA, so a lot of features. Here's the stipulation of sale, which is none is the one that we typically look for, but this denotes if it's a distressed property. For instance, a bank-owned, court sale, a HUD, potential short sale. So it's another one, important one to look at. If you scroll down, you can see these are the feature sheets, and as you can see, the features include everything from a fireplace to a wet bar. You can search by features looking for a certain foundation, a lot location, for instance, if you want oceanfront, utilities, HOA fees. So knowing what the features are will help you search for them. Just keep in mind when you're searching for features, they're only as accurate as the agent that put them in MLS. So for some reason, if the agent input a listing and he or she didn't click one of these features, it doesn't mean the listing doesn't have it. It just means they may not have clicked on it. So like I said, becoming familiar with this sheet will help you know what's actually searchable in MLS. And if we go back, here's the stipulation of sale. We typically use none, which means there's no stipulation, but if it was a distressed property, it will be listed as either bank-owned, a HUD home, but a regular sale, we're searching typically by none. And of course, you can search by price range, room count, and the features that we just went over on the data sheet. Another way to search, if you're searching generally by location, for residential, you use the subdivision. So you can look up all the listings in an actual subdivision. For condos, you want to use project section code, which will tell you the actual section code, the project name of a condo development. You don't want to use building name. A lot of condo projects that are large, the phases of them were built sometimes at different times. They could be years apart, so they could be listed in MLS under different project codes. So for instance, Beach Colony, even though it looks like one building, is actually two buildings that are attached that were built separately. So in MLS, they were actually entered separately, so they're known as Beach Colony 1 and Beach Colony 2. So when you're searching project section code, you want to make sure you don't leave off a project name or a phase, and you might miss a lot of the inventory. The best way to fix this is that project section code in MLS will autofill. So if I simply just type in Beach Colony, it will autofill all the Beach Colony project section code tabs, and I don't have to worry about missing one. I just have to make sure I've got them all clicked. Another good way to look at property, you can either use the map tool feature, which we'll go over, or you can use this area boundary map. It's actually a map, as you can see, that corresponds with certain codes, and you'll see them in MLS. And it's actually a useful tool. So for instance, you can see how they're broken up here. If I wanted to search, say, for Carolina Forest, if I zoom in on the map, I can see here's Carolina Forest, and it's all inside of this block 10B. So what that means is if I go back and I see 10B, you can see right here that 10B represents Carolina Forest on the map. So by typing in 10B in MLS, it's going to pull up every listing in that area. So if I wanted to search large areas and I didn't just want to use Myrtle Beach, or I didn't want to just map out a huge area, I could, if I was familiar with these areas and the codes, I could just type in a code. So for instance, 16G represents roughly Myrtle Beach State Park up to Joe White Avenue, all the way to the bypass. So you can see this includes Market Common. There's Myrtle Beach International Airport. So because Market Common is a big area and I won't know all the subdivisions, I could just type in residential and type in area 16G, and it will pull up that entire area. And it's known as Southern Limit to 10th Avenue. It's right here. And it's a quick way to pull up a huge area without having to use a precise mapping tool or listing every subdivision or searching the entire city limits. To show you how this works in MLS, now you can see that we're actually in MLS in Paragon. You can see the quick features, showing time. Quick search allows you to search a property very quickly by either subdivision, area, the address, or just typing in an MLS number. But the most common way to search for a property is using the search tab. As you can see, you're going to search by the class: residential, land, commercial, condo. So for instance, if I'm searching for a house, I'm going to scroll to residential. And now you can see off that MLS sheet all the tabs that we can search by. So we're under the residential tab. So what we want to do is search for actives. Now when I click actives, it's going to show me all active listings plus anything that's pending or under contract. Now for some reason, if I didn't want to look at the pendings and I just wanted to focus on what was active, I would just select active, and it's only going to pull up properties that are not currently under contract. But this search all active. And as I can see, there's 5,700 residential listings active in our MLS. So that's when you want to start narrowing your criteria down. So the most common way to narrow it down will probably be by a price range. So here, if I wanted to go 300,000 is my high, if I add it, I can see now I'm down to 3,300 listings. Keep in mind, if you're searching with a high of 300, if a property is listed at 301,000, it will not show up because you've got the criteria cut off at 300. So if you're looking for something in a specific range, it's always good to add a little bit to it so you don't end up missing something that is maybe a good fit for your client, but you don't get to see it because it's $2,000 over the budget. So just keep that in mind. So I've narrowed it down to 3,300 listings. So let's say I want to narrow it down again. Maybe I'm only interested in 3-bedroom houses. So I go to bedrooms and I can go max or minimum 3-bedroom home. And I'm down to 3,087. Okay, let's say I want to get even more in depth. I can go to features, and here I can pick what features I want in the home. So let's say I want a 3-bedroom home, 300,000 with a swimming pool. I can search the features and go all the way down to exterior feature and search for a pool outdoor, must have. And now I'm going to have 45 listings available. So if I click one of the listings, I'm going to get my 45 listings in the search result. And what I can do is I can sort them by status. So out of the 45, only a certain number of them are going to be active. Some of them are going to be pending. So I can see, if I scroll down, only 20 of the 45 are actually currently available. And it will tell me how many bedrooms, the style, the subdivision, and the price. Now, if I wanted to go cheapest to most expensive, I can click this and it's going to arrange them in order of price. I can also do it with subdivision or anything else I want. So for instance, if I go back, let's say the pool is not that big of a deal. By removing the pool, I go back to 3,087 listings. Most likely I'm going to be searching in a general area. So if I wanted a 3-bedroom house for this price range, I have to know what area. I can either go to city and go Myrtle Beach. It's going to give me about 908 homes. If I wanted to get very specific, for instance, let's say a subdivision, I could look up a subdivision like Crestwind in Market Common, which has no listings. But if I did Emmons Preserve in Market Common, I can see I have 4 listings to choose from. So this is a good tool if I only want homes in a certain subdivision. Now, this means there's 2 active listings, 2 under contract. These are not all the listings, because if I were to go back and take my price out, I can see we're up to 17 listings, but only 4 were under the 300,000 range, as you can see. If I sort by price, you can see how the majority of these homes didn't make my price cutoff. Only 4 of them did, which is why sometimes you want to use as few features as possible when you're searching, so you're not eliminating huge pieces of inventory. So this say if I wanted to look at one of these homes, I can click, for example, this home here, and see that it's a 4-bedroom. I can see the price. I can see the subdivision, Emmons Preserve. If I scroll down, it lists all the features. The agent-to-agent remarks will show me the instructions on getting into the home. For instance, it says MLS lockbox on front door. The public remarks are generally to the public about the home, and I've got driving directions. Another thing I can do is look at the history of the property, and this will show me every time it's been in MLS. It was originally listed in March, and the original price. I can see where it was listed before in February, and I can see back to 2015 when it was originally sold. 2014 it was sold by Lennar Homes for $251. If I use the map tool, it will show me the general location of the home on my map using Google Maps. Another thing, if I'm looking at information on a property, if I wanted to schedule a showing, I can click the showing time, and then it will allow me to schedule showings, and it will electronically confirm it and send you the instructions. So your showing time link is the blue one, and if you just scroll over, it tells you what all of these are. That was the property history, the map, quick view, and showing time is the little blue one. Now if I wanted more details on this specific home, if I click reports, Associated Docs will have any documents uploaded by the listing agent. So for instance, this is the property disclosure in Associated Docs that the seller filled out. So that's how I would access that. Any kind of disclosures, any kind of rental history is usually in these Associated Docs. Sometimes they're not. The agent may not have uploaded anything and you'll have to ask for it, but quite often if you pull up the reports Associated Docs, everything will be in there. I can pull up Google Maps, property history report. You can print flyers out from here and customize how they look. But if I want more information about this specific property, what I can do is go to reports, scroll down to the CRS data report. So by clicking this, it's going to hook into Horry County tax records and show me the details of the house. So I can see the address, county, I can see square footage, the name of the owner, his mailing address. You can see that he lives there at the property because it's not an out-of-state address, so he's a full-time homeowner. It will show me when he bought it, the sales history, the tax assessment, and then the actual taxes and if they've been paid or not. So I can see taxes for 2019 for a permanent residence there. He's paying $727 for the year. You can look up mortgage history and characteristics about the property, and if I scroll all the way to the bottom, it'll also show me the flood zone. So I can see right here it's flood zone X, which is a minimum flood risk. So this is a good way to generally look up to see if a property is in a flood zone, and if it is, you can always confirm it using the Horry County GIS application or on FEMA's website and go to the flood zone section and actually type in the address. But this is a quick way to show me that this home is not listed in a flood zone through the county. And that was in CRS data reports. So if I go back to the listing, if I click, I can scroll through the photos of the home. And if I double click the agent, I can get the agent's contact information, mailing address, and email. And generally all the information is laid out the same in a listing. So let's say if I went back and I wanted to see how many actual homes have sold in this neighborhood. Using my same criteria, I would go back, take out my status, and change it from active to sold. So now it's pulling up sold listings, but it's pulling up everything that's sold, 742. So I would narrow it down by date. So you want to use recording date. So I would go to the recording date, and let's say I want to go back 90 days, 3 months. I would just go back, or I can go to March 1st, and I can see every home that's sold since March 1st, all solds, in Emmons Preserve. I see 6. Now, if I take out 3 bedrooms, there could be more. There's not, but if I don't narrow it down by bedroom, it's going to pull everything. So now when I'm pulling up my search criteria, I can see here the sold price recording date. If I click it, I can sort it by the most recent. So I can see the most recent home sold on 5/7/2020. So if I click that information, click that listing, I can see that it's a 4-bedroom home. It was listed at $329,999, and that it sold, if I scroll to the bottom, on 5/7 for $320. So only $9,000 away from asking price. And it usually will tell me the price per square foot that it sold for, the $126 a square foot. So if I'm doing a comp, this is generally the way you want to do it. I can either search by the subdivision, or I could search by a map tool. If I know a neighborhood or general location, I can use the map tool to search active or solds. So when you click on the map tool, it's going to load a map. And I just zoom in on the area that I'm looking for. So I know Market Common is right here by the airport. There's Faro Parkway, so I can use my tool and draw a map radius. And then use that to hit search. And now it's going to show me all the homes that have sold in that map radius. I can see these are all Market Common homes. 38 solds, and that's one way to search. Now if I want to use a more general search, say if I'm looking for active listings, let's go back. So let's say a buyer is looking for a certain type of home. Let's go active. And let's say I want to use just actives. I don't want pendings. I could just click active. I could do my price as $300,000 as my max. And let's say if I wanted Carolina Forest, but maybe they don't know the area that well, they don't know any subdivisions, I could either search by city, and I could do Myrtle Beach, or I could do the map tool and try to map that area out. But another way to do it is the area tool, the map that we used. So just to show you, when I click on this, Carolina Forest on the map is 10B if you've got the map with you. But when you pull up area, it's going to list them in numerical order with the actual area listed on it. So as you can see here, all I do is scroll down to 10B and I can see Carolina Forest. So I would check 10B, and now it's going to pull up every listing in that area. And I can see I have 129 listings. So I can hit search, and now it's going to pull up all the homes in that area. Now if I wanted to go specific subdivision, for instance Southgate, I could go in again by removing the area and just typing in Southgate. And now I can see I have 2 active homes in the Southgate subdivision. When searching for condos, it's done exactly the same way. But instead of subdivision, you want to use project section code. So like the example we used with Beach Colony, there can be more than one section. So if I were to type in Beach Colony, I could see it autofills 2, Beach Colony 1 and 2. So in the first phase, there's 13 listings. But when I go back and type in Beach Colony 2, I pick up an additional 7. So now there's 20 listings in the entire development. I can search my status. So out of the 20, 15 are actually available, and it means 4 of them are under contract, 1's active with kickout. So that's what we mean when we say searching by project section code. Another example is Sea-Watch Resort, and you can see Sea-Watch has multiple sections. So if you didn't click every section, you could possibly leave out a big amount of the inventory. And also for condos, if I were to click type, I can see I can search by either townhome, duplex, or condo. I can also search by what kind of building exterior finish. If I only wanted type, I could search by construction status. So if I only wanted new condos, I could come in here and click to be built under construction and never occupied, and I would only get newly built condos. And if I don't want that feature, I just simply take it out. If I wanted to use features to search condos that were only oceanfront, I would just go active. I would go to the feature tab, and at the very bottom, for building location, I would just select oceanfront. And now I've got 400 oceanfront listings in oceanfront buildings. And if I wanted to narrow it down by price, I could go 300,000 and cut it down more, or I could search oceanfront buildings by bedroom count and have a minimum of 3 bedrooms. And now I've got 103 listings. So generally that is the way that you're going to be searching in MLS, usually by active listings, then by an area and a price range. If you're looking for comps, you're going to be looking for sold, and generally in a certain area, subdivision, or project, or a general area, you can use the map tool. Once again, all these features, you'll be more familiar with them as you start clicking through them. But that's generally the most common way you're going to be looking. The only other way is if you wanted to search by an address, you could, for instance, type in the address, and let's say you only have the first couple of numbers. I can see by typing in that address, I can see I only get 1 result. The last possibility is if you just have a MLS number. You could just simply go to the MLS, copy and paste the number, and search. And if you have the correct MLS number, you'll get back to the same listing. The last thing to keep in mind is sometimes they're separate, or sometimes they can be, if you're confused on which actual class a property is in, and not sure if it's a townhome or a condo, or you can't find it, you can use the multi-class tool. The multi-class tool basically searches everything by every class. So for instance, at Market Common, there is a development called Seagate, I believe, and we'll see if we can pull it up. So Seagate Village. And as you can see, when you pull up one of the listings, they look like homes, but they're actually listed in MLS as townhomes. I believe they're HPRs. Now, if someone were to call and look at the photo, they'd assume it's a house, but if you tried searching for this under residential, you would not find it. So unless you specifically knew that this subdivision is listed in MLS as a condo, you'd have a hard time finding it. So just to make sure you can find it, one thing you can do is say Hemlock Avenue is the address. If you can't find it, you can always go to multi-class, search active, search Hemlock Avenue, and there you see it. You don't have to worry about not clicking the right feature because it's going to search everything. And you can see right there it shows up. Now, had I gone to residential and done the same search, I'm guessing it probably would not have shown up. So see, I can go active, and see I get nothing because I'm searching residential instead of condo. So when in doubt, if you can't find something, just search under multi-class and it's more likely you're going to bring it up.